Okay. So everything should be on. Let's go! Day 4 on 490. 10 days away from 500. This is not going to be a live stream because I don't have a second monitor, so sadly no reaction possible, but hopefully you get to see what happens. I try to keep the recording on until I get to day 500 and then I go to sleep or something. I don't know, we're still in the morning. We'll see how long it takes. So we just got a fresh batch of new bosses. This is an easy raid apart from Voos because they have a weight of 6, so you can't stall them easily. Voos are annoying more so than anything, just because they have a bunch of HP, and Voos have damage reflect, so it's better to have like an Alpinist to help clear the stuff. We have 5 raids because there's one who is just sitting in a town and who isn't going to move. As long as you don't kill that raid, it's not going to respawn. I could probably get rid of it so that it respawns somewhere else. Oh, it's probably something I'll do at some point, but until then, don't really care. So, got 5 raids to deal with. The 2 closest to headquarters. I can just use an Alpinist at some point. Serrator I can't intercept on this map because it's a bad one. And then we have the Annihilator here. Sadly, the weather is thunderstorm. That being said, is it too big of a deal? Not too much. Not too much. So, because I don't need Alpinist to deal with the Serrator, I'll be able to next day. So next day I'll deal with the 2 that are here because they'll join up at HQ. Then I'll take care of the Serrator. But for 2 days, that means that we have to deal with the Annihilator and this. The Annihilator should not be too much of a problem. We can just use yeah, we can use something, a setup with like Ethan, Ascalon, and a bunch of binders, and we should be good. Big picking puzzle. Ethan, Ascalon to slow down. I have F feature. We got built recently. I'm going to make you some food. Other than this, it's going to be QB, Ifrit, read Saria to speed things up. Literally just to speed things up. You know what? I'm going to do something I don't usually do. I'm gonna pick Roberta and I'm gonna give her camo food. Not 50% though. I did this at some point. Along with... Did I put her? Yeah, she's there. Along with on the umbrella. There we go. Replenish this. Make sure that every resource is at 15. Except for the barrier and the jet fowlers. That's it. We have crowd control, pushback, puzzle for DP generation. Then we got oh, whoa. That's why you double check. Chubai to actually stall the boss. And we should have everything. Okay. A quick note about tools. Neural chain is great if you don't have QB and you want to save time. However, if your strategy relies on this, it's not a good thing. It's if you have 8 ops deployed, it's going to be 80% attack, which is nice if you want to speed things up again, but you don't want to be reliant on raw stats to actually clear things. Necrosis transmitter is almost the same thing because while there is the minus I can't speak. The minus 15% movement speed, the necrosis aspect, you again should not rely on this. If you are just looking to clear things, go grab both of them. they are going to, like, if you just want to get a reward from critical contention, just craft like how many do you need? Like 36 of those, and that's it. You're done. Operation kit is actually useful if you are constrained by DP, or if you just want to lick the entire raid because it's a bunch of X Colossus or some of the good flying gargoyles. You can just lick them all, and the rest is just not reliable enough. I see a bunch of people use glow stick launchers. It doesn't do anything. Omni Umbrella is actually great. It's used for one specific weather, which is Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm is going to absolutely nuke your operators basically at random. You have two ways to deal with this. Either you have medic and supporters, so we have Reed and Roberta, and that's the reason why I'm bringing Roberta. And what it does is going to make them and the allies around them completely immune to any weather effect. So no more getting randomly one-shotted. If you can't afford this, you still have the remote shield controllers that are going to give a barrier every now and then. So it's not a guarantee that it will save your operators. If you have some really bad luck, you can have like 2 lightning strikes and a corrosion effect proccing at the same time and nuking one of your operators, which sucks, but it happens. So plan ahead, plan ahead. Let's go. Oh, what is this positioning and anything? This. We are going to remove this so that the rocket launcher dudes don't screw me over. Ask Alan to buy time. Then even we can add a Roberta. That's gonna be nice. I guess I can give you some extra. There it goes. A feature doesn't have to stay here for the entire duration, just for the beginning. Also, I should start setting up should buy a Fritz and Reed. Now, because Reed is a medic, the rest is going to be immune to all the weather effects, and we don't have to worry too much about what's going on. Here it goes. The frames. It's okay, they all died pretty soon. I could technically have used like Woody with a camo food, but it's not necessary, so the most important part of the raid will die before then. If the enemies had infinite stats, I would have, but such is not the case. Such is not the case. We're slowly getting through. Almost all enemies are there. Okay. Now we just need to nope. It's not going to increase damage. Place this and start bursting the boss. The rest of you is gonna die. I'll probably shorten some of thing first. So if there's a jump, that's normal. Other than this, I guess we can talk about the different bosses because it's going to be over 10 days. So this boss doesn't do anything because all of his abilities are reliant on him being blocked, and you don't want to block anything in area unless you, well, in critical contention specifically for day pushing, you don't intend to block anything unless you can just abuse shields and barriers to, well, mostly shields, to stay alive and survive some hits. So it's going to be like, what do we have? We have Orcus. If you just keep spamming his S3, it's going to refresh his shield. You're gonna have Vigil's Wolves, because they are limited at 1000 HP, but every time, only one of them can die at a time, so that's something you can use. The usual strat of just spamming a bunch of fast redeploys doesn't really work for a few reasons. The first one is that we have -1 block on everything, so I would need to have like a supporter with an Omni Umbrella next to them to cancel this effect. Not practical. And the other issue is that we have the plus 100% redeployment time. So the redeployment time is doubled, so things just take a lot longer to occur. Now that I think about it, I could probably push this back. Can I? Nah, it's fine with this. That's fine with this. Because I saw someone ask about Chubai, and also because I had a few more experiments. So, what you want for Chubai specifically is to have her S1 at Mastery 3. That is a 3-second duration. The problem is she has an attack interval that is too long. So in theory, if everything is perfectly fine and the game ran perfectly, you only need 28 attack speed. That's in theory. In practice, there is a bug that doesn't occur all that often, but it does occur, which is, I don't know if it has an official name, but I call it frame skipping, where the engine kind of skips an entire frame and plays 2 of them at the same time. This results in issue because now, instead of having an attack interval of 1 second and a bind of 3 seconds, you're going to have at least 1 frame during which the enemy can move. Now it doesn't happen often enough to be relevant in most cases, but specifically against the Windbringer, who is an operator, he's not an operator, who is a boss that you need to split box and who is going to be just on the edge of Chubai's range, it is important and relevant because the issue is if the boss moves even just a little bit, he'll get outside of Chubai's range. So the way to actually fix it is not to get 28 attack speed, but to get 33. So you get, she can basically do her attack 1 frame earlier. So even if there is a frame which is skipped, it's okay. You have a safety frame to secure things just in case you got some really bad timing or something. So for all bosses, 28 attack speed, good enough. For Ringbringer specifically, bring 33. And once this boss is dead, we'll actually take a look at our options. So so how do you reach 33 attack speed? Because you want it to be permanent, you want to perma-stall, you want to be as lazy as possible. You get 7 attack speed from a module at level 3. I hope you got your module data box ready because you're gonna have to sacrifice a bunch of them. So 7 attack speed. That leaves us down to 26. We got logistics that we'll see after the boss is dead. If we could just die a bit faster, I should have brought Suzerain. So logistics is a passive buff that you get just by putting your operators in headquarters, and then just give a buff to everyone in everywhere, which is very nice. So it gives you, I think it's 8 attack speeds. If you're just going for 28 overall, that means you need to find 11 attack speed from somewhere. So it's going to be either using Shu, which is not recommended because our talent or passive is too restrictive. You can have Iron Escape. You can have Silik, or Silich, however you pronounce it. They all, or Angelina with module X specifically. Though Angelina has to be within close range of Chubai for it to work. Well, the same is true for Iron Escape and Silik. Once you do, you've done this, it's okay. You got the your permastall up and running. Now there are a bunch of operators I don't have. I do have Shu, but she's not practical enough. So the logistic buffs, yeah, it's 10 attack speed. It's 10 attack speed. Additional 8 in a quarters out on outpost. So along with this, the operators in question, and also where are we? Yeah, so I'm just using +3 and +15 attack speed. In theory, I could just use the minor ingredients that gives this one, that gives 15 attack speed, but in practice I'm one short of getting to the second breakpoint, which allows me to get to 33 attack speed and allows me to really guarantee that there is a permastall going on without it breaking. So if you want to be safe, go for 33. If you just if you have a working phone or PC that can somehow run Reclamation on a Gurvam or those raids without dropping frames, I don't like, I guess you're being paid by NASA or something, but you only need 28 in that. You only need 28. Hey, it's going to be an opener showcase. Yeah, so people saw it, but we can do a bit of math here. I'll need some AoE though, because I don't want this to take absolute ages. I think that's all we need. Yeah, that's all we need. I'm bringing Telopsis, just the way I was saying, so we don't need that anymore. Actually, we don't need Telopsis, bye-bye. I'm lazy, let's go. So openers here is pretty interesting. You probably saw what happened if you watched the previous video. Oh, it's this one. Get DP first. Wait, it's this map. I thought it was the other one. Okay, doesn't matter. You know what? It's going to be a perfect showcase to show how Telopsis is actually unnecessary. That's not what I expected to do, but I guess we're doing it. Also, there are ranged enemies, so here we go. This is a bit of a mess. This is not how it should happen. So, right now, Alpenus has, let me put this in front. So I'm only putting like devices in front to make sure that when Alpenus activates his skill, he's not going to move from his position. He's just going to stay there. It's just because it's easier for me if I don't have to click on him, then go to the left, then click there, then go back and forth. Now, his skill currently costs only, we're going to speed things up, and let me check if, yeah, no, okay, just gonna do edit, there we go, so I can just press a button and activate the skill. Where is there? You can very easily stall with just this, you don't have to worry about anything else. I'm going to add you. I'm going to add you. You. Get more DP. Oopsie. I'm doing whatever. So, he has 11 SP. Every time he retreats or gets redeployed, as is the same for all operators, he gets 6 initial DP on deployment. Oh, frame drops. That is usually what you want to run at times 1 speed. Every time he retreats, he gets 6 SP. There is a provision. I should have placed one here, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So there's a provision that reduces SP cost by 55%. Very nice. It brings his SP cost to 11 and gets 6 SP per deployment, so you need only 5 extra SP. Now, that's 6 seconds, and his turn lasts 6 seconds. So you might think, okay, so by default you can perma-stun things, but it's not entirely correct. It's not entirely correct. You can use a device which is going to proc after 3 seconds. So in effect, this is only giving him 1. It should give him 3, but it's always going to proc right as the number goes to 10. You see, number goes to 10, and boom, available. It's because it counts after him being retreated by deactivating his skill 3 seconds after this. So he has 6 SP plus 9. The thing procs. There is 1 frame going on, and yeah, you get to activate the skill. It's the same thing Suzerain currently as a food, and I can... there is no good position for Suzerain, but I'm still going to do it for demonstration purposes. So, we do this, we remove the device. Suzerain has a food that gives 1 SP every 2.5 seconds. In effect, because the SP battery just gives 1 SP, because it happens after a bit, it is the same thing. So you can be using Suzerain, or you can be using a battery. It comes down to the exact same. Another option would be Ptilopsis, because she gives enough SP recoveries that you can reliably get open the skill in time, so that it can perma-stall everything. So, well, perma-stall everything is not quite correct. Also, I forgot that there is a thunderstorm weather, and this is exactly what I meant when talking about the thunderstorm, about the weather just screwing you over at times. Not nice. So now we kind of have to wait until both Logos and Aya come back. And this is at 2 times speed. So what happened if there is not Suzerain? Part of the issue, if you don't have neither an SP battery nor anything, is that, again, as mentioned, 6 seconds to charge up your skill and a stun of 6 seconds. Because the activation is not instant, you'll see that it's not possible to perma-stall. So I try to do something as frame perfect as possible, just so you can see. There we go. You can see traveling. They can move, you deactivate the skill. You can stall for pretty long time. But you can see, even if it's just a few frames, the enemy will be able to move, which is why you actually wanted to have an SP battery. Well, I guess they're back, so please finish this. Thank you. There we go. And with this, one day it's done. A few props to some people. I'll put a link in, well, several links in the description. For some people who are also working on a record. So there are two that are working on it. One is Asadekai, who has both a Twitch and a YouTube channel, and the other is Gravestone Robber / Dragslayer. I also put a link in the description for his channel. Both have done a lot of work on the run, and I'm going to borrow some of the ideas, some of the documents. So we have another raid which spawned, but the issue is when you have enemies at the HQ, you can't actually check what's going on. So here, this is an extremely annoying one because we have the Ace Colossus, and contrary to what you might think, their defense is not actually that great. They just have an enormous amount of HP by default. So it's going to take a bit of time. And I'm going to be using QB here instead of against the boss. Reason being, what is it? QB. We are not going to use Ifrit. We are going to use locals, however. For the res, I'm also going to be using Suzu. And Opens is just going to be spamming his skill again. We definitely want Reed Archer so that QB can actually assist. And then the rest is just going to be a bit of DP. There is no need for anything else. In fact, you probably don't even need a DP just to set up a bit faster. Same thing, check that everything is maxed out where you need it. So not the automatic barrier, not the gas jet throwers, don't care about that one. DP, damage, and reset. Alright, let me think for a sec. I think I can't even... I'm gonna save Locos for the other one because the Cell Reader takes absolutely ages to kill. And I'm also going to have pity on you and activate the neural chain along with some random ops that I don't care. I'm just gonna put them in some random corner. Friston, Rota. Whatever, it's just to enable the normal chain. The sacrifices I have to make for you. Now it's also for your own sanity sometimes when you do the run. Some fights just can take 20, 30, 40 minutes depending on what you do. Sometimes you realize that you are on the last day and you have to actually clear a particular raid, but you don't have any time remaining. So like, oh great, I guess it's time to struggle for like 50 minutes. Gonna place you there. Gonna place QB facing up. For just a duck. Boom. Now this by default 3300 attack, just to speed things up a little bit. Ah, I need to edit my key. There we go, so that we can activate it easily. There we go. Like, QB should have no issue, like, as long as there is Reed constantly healing, especially for all the attack buffs, she's not going to die. But if I activate the skill, she's going to die very, very, very fast. So that's one of those things. The Colossus should have, yeah, the Colossus have more defense than the damage reflect enemies, so we're just going to be using this. Also the frames are already dropping. Help. I'm definitely gonna be skipping most of the fight, so that you don't have to wait for too long. Okay, so past a certain number of days, you will need extra DPS to actually clean things up, and you'll need to do some setups, just like I've done with this base. So let me just pause. So all the enemies go from all around the corners, and then they get in this alleyway. Now the shortest path right now is through this. But if things go really bad because I screwed up somehow and I have a bunch of operators that are getting killed, I can just destroy that one and place a wall here or there, doesn't matter. On the right side, it's currently blocked. So enemies will have to go all the way here, up, and then down, and then to the right, and as soon as they go here, same, I can just delete the wall on the right side, add a wall here, and then they have to go all the way back, and you just make them do loops until you get all your operators back. This is going to work for a lot of things. Obviously there are flying enemies, which there is only one of them. The Tomb Keeper Grotesque. That's not gonna work, but it's okay. We'll have a showcase for Glaucus, I hope, with said flying enemies. I actually have actually I'm still going to kill those guys, but I will replace and put on screen a clear with Glaucus in Shrubbery Galore. Shrubbery Galore is a really bad map because you have enemies coming from 3 different directions, and 2 of them intersect basically next to the blue box, so it's absolutely terrible. And the reason she is so good is because she's the most reliable way to get rid of the gargoyles. Because the gargoyles can just fly around, and there are quite a few of them. So you can't use tricks like Olpianus to get rid of the second phase. Like, during the first phase you can be stunned by Olpianus, for example, but it doesn't work if they are in the air. So Glaucus is basically there to be like, oh hey, you're trying to escape, well that's too bad. And you're gonna need a lot of room to give as many SP batteries as possible to Glaucus. Oh, that's it. But overall, yeah, she can stall again, so up to 128 enemies, which is a target cap. But luckily enough, there are only 2 raids in which the gargoyles spawn. One of them has less than 17, I think it's just 14. Yeah, it's 14 of them. 14, so you can just lick them all if they're on their own. And the other one, they actually spawn along with a bunch of doubling enemies. So you just use the strat, and you're basically set. It just works. It just works. So yeah, I've been talking all this time, and you can see that I'm about halfway for most of the Colossus. The good thing is that it gets faster and faster in the end, because there's a bit of AoE damage due to Opus just spamming a skill. And this is with no chain. Like, I want to remind you, this will be slower. This will be even slower if I didn't use a neural chain. Everyone will be missing not just 80 attack, but 90% attack. Because I have a robot. That's why usually if there are those guys, in normal circumstances, well, in normal circumstances, let's just say that because there are not that many spawning, I just start the map, pick an operation kit, because it gives you 5 extra life points, and just lick them all, because It's just so much faster. It's just so much faster. And next we have the Sail Raider. I'll be skipping to the end. And see you in just a second for you. And we're done! Finally! Okay. Nice.
No hostile movement detected. Please check your status, team.
There we go. Now the Sail Raider. The Sail Raider is actually, did I do the 90? Yeah, I did do the 90. Sail Raider, Sail Raider. The rest of the raid is really easy. Again, we're gonna be using the F-Eater, Askanon, even Stall. I would very much have liked to bring I guess I would be able to. It doesn't matter. So we pick red, white, full gravel because they're faster replies. We bring a mud rock just in case I screw up. Puzzle for DP generation. Ines also as a way to bait, and then we want a Chubai to stall the boss. If it reduces the res, logos to help deal some more damage, and I can probably drop Ines. I can definitely drop Ines. And Osaria to have, because she does give 55% extra attack. Again, gonna use Neural Chain because I also value my sanity, and this boss takes ages to kill. Okay, everything. Stall. DP. Fast repose plus mud rock. Damage plus bind. Let's go. So this boss, has pretty high res, fairly high HP, though it doesn't respawn. Once the HP hits 0, fight is over. It's nice. Please stall. Give me DP. Give me DP. Puzzle. Faster. Okay. Bit late. I should have picked an operation kit maybe. That's okay, that's fine. I'll be doing this. Got a F-Eater. They're gonna die. I forgot to remove this. Good thing I have a shield. Alright. So, we're gonna have Chubai for the stall. We're gonna have the boss sitting right here, where the wall is. We need... what do we need? You will want to place the operators are not... that don't have camouflage foot, so Saria doesn't have it. So might as well place it right away. Okay, so boss is going straight to the right. Sometimes it goes to the left, sometimes it goes to the right. Doesn't matter too much. We're gonna be placing you to start baiting some shots. Tuk, 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 tuk. Buy a bit of time. Sometimes if you're lucky. Yeah, okay. Whoops. This is what I want. So we have a Mudrock. Now, Mudrock doesn't regenerate a shield fast enough, which is why we still need the fast replies. We place you. We don't need you for the DP anymore. We can just do this. Keep stalling. So we just start to activate abilities and let the boss do his stuff. Oopsie. There we go. It's okay. It's gonna take a bit of time anyway. In theory, you don't need Mudrock. Well, in practice, you don't need Mudrock, but it's more of a, well, I'm lazy and don't want to place as many fast deploys. It requires more micromanagement. It's more a case of me being lazy. Because she has 3 charges, so I can just wait until it drops to 1 shield remaining and then place fast reply and wait. There you go. Once these ones will be dead, I'll be able to place a Ifrit, which will be nice. Keep stalling. So, I do need a bit of focus until all those guys are dead. Lucky dodge on red. Just die faster, please. Ah, goodness. Goodness gracious. Oh. Definitely make sure that Mudrock has at least 1 shield remaining. Reason being, if the boss drops, because, okay, let me just do this. There are only 2 left, they will die. So, the way the boss functions, the boss has, I think it's just 150 death by default. It's nothing. It's nothing. So, even if it's times 10, it's like still 1500. You don't care. It's very little. You're meant to use a bunch of marksmen to actually take down the boss, and possibly some crowd control here and there. Obviously, in critical contention, you don't get the luxury, so you have to actually use a Chubai to burst all. You could also use a Blockus or Nymph, technically. I frankly wouldn't recommend you to do so. Hey, the enemies are dead. I can actually remove people and start facing some people. Yeah, okay. Okay. So you're meant to use a bunch of marksmen to take down these Accelerator. Once you inflict enough damage, the boss is going to fall to the ground, do a rather large AoE splash, large enough that it would hit Mudrock, but not quite large enough that it would hit Logos. In that case. So you get a decent idea of how wide it is. It's about this wide. So with this in mind, you can just stall the boss. You do have to be careful because sometimes the boss can also, after dropping, cast an ability. The boss is going to take off back to the sky fairly fast. Can activate this. So the boss doesn't stay on the ground very long, and bite doesn't do nothing. And when the boss does this, it's going to reset the boss internal cooldown for their attacks, so you have to be very careful that you got at least 1 shield available when you do so. You also have to be careful of the timing because sometimes the boss just doesn't attack and falls to the ground right after. So if Mudrock has only 1 shield remaining when that happens, she's going to die instantly. It doesn't matter how much HP she has. Yeah, she has 3000 a year, but the boss, by this point of the campaign, everything is a one-shot, so might as well not tempt the devil or something. But yeah, it's a fairly boring boss. Other than this, one character I wanted to build just so that I could like go do something else instead of having to constantly put a bunch of first reploys is have a vigil with his dogs, because the dogs only die again one at a time, so it's perfect if you want to tank this kind of thing. You do need to give like SP cost reduction to Vigil, along with his skill 1, possibly with Mastery 3, also with its module, and possibly also some SP batteries. But at least you can go do something else, because you can just take a look at how long this entire thing is. Here's another splash. So the boss is going to fall to the ground 2 more times. So yeah, fairly uneventful, which is why overall very easy to deal with the raid. They have only melee enemies as they can be stalled. It's just a boss being annoying. It's easy but long. It's a bit like the Dauntless Line Breaker. Like the raid itself is very easy, just long. So I have the sound, so I have the in-game, the amateur sound turned on right now for this recording. Usually, to keep your sanity in RA, you try to have fully AFK setups as much as possible so that I can go ahead and do something. Like I have a bunch of YouTube videos I would like to check. I have a document on Codecasters. I've been procrastinating for like 3 weeks already, and I should really work on this. So listening to music, watching some videos, having AFK setups, that's all nice. Sadly, it's just not the case for a bunch of things. Operators like Locus and Openness are all very nice because they don't... Well, they are powerful because they have just so much sheer power. Being able to crowd control up to the target cap is insane. But it's still taking so long and still taking so many actions to actually do so. You have to, if you are on ×2 speed, you have to do it in every less than 3 seconds, which is a pain. I also happen to have a piano next to me, so every time I'm like particularly bored, I can be like, oh hey, let me play something. But I'm just learning piano, so currently whatever music, if I dare call it that, doesn't sound all that great. It's like it takes time, you know, checking all the when you go like oh hey, all these intervals have different names, all the notation system. Do you know that a flat and a sharp can be actually the same note? I'm like, what? Why do we have 2 notations for something that ends up being the exact same thing in the end? Those kind of things. Fun times. The boss is not quite dead, but we're getting there. Now, if you had QB, would that speed things up a lot? Not really, no. Because QB deals 75% of the enemy's max, well, not max HP, 75% of the enemy's defense for every hit, and extra 4% if you have a potential. It's not going, like, what is going to matter really is the defense to max HP ratio of the enemies. This is what is going to make it look like as if some enemies just absolutely melt when QB is here, versus some others who are going to still take damage, but you're going to feel that, yeah, it's a lot slower. And the Sand Raider, part of the reason why he's so annoying is that his defense is so low. Again, he starts only 150 defense. So QB is not going to be doing particularly more DPS than anyone else, which is part of the issue. Now, you have two ways of splitting things up if you have a QB. And this is going to be particularly relevant for when I actually have a fight with Elrafig. You don't care about any flat damage values, you don't care about attack, the only thing you care about are attack speed and damage multipliers, which is why you... Okay, I guess res reduction, so three things, to be fair. Res reduction, because it's a reduction in your overall damage, so if you can reduce it, you are effectively multiplying your final damage. And then it's other damage debuffs. So Saria, for example, is 55% extra arts damage taken, which is not called arts fragility because she got released early enough that it's not called this. So it can stack with Reed's arts fragility, which was 30%, and it can stack with Suzerain fragile, which is 44% by default and 50% with potentials. So all these are multiplicative with your final damage and just a way to hyperbuff QB into the stratosphere. Alright. We got a raid that just spawned. Happens. Some random ones. This one is easy, this one is also easy. Within range. This one is going to have a lot. Acid rain, and it's too... Okay, it's just going to be trivial. One way to check... Yeah, restock in 1 day. So next day there's going to be a boss refresh. Another way that I know whether there's a boss refresh is you just add up all the numbers at the top, the number of days, and you're like 4 plus 9 plus 2. How much is it? It's 11. It's 15. 15 is divisible by 3. That means that at 3 n plus 1 there's a refresh. So I know that the next day there's going to be a new batch of bosses coming in. Let's do this one. This one we're just gonna do 0 weight of 3. We're just gonna do an Ascalon stall along with their features. That's okay. We can definitely do this. We can use puzzle. We use there's a crew for the other one. Don't even need neural chain. Let's go. So, talking about the weather, because it's going to take a bit to actually play rules. Here we go. You just sit here, and you can have this. Okay. So, talking about the weather. There is something that you may not realize. When you start critical contention, you have 2 sets of weather possible. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want you right there, and we can have you here. So you have 2 sets of weather possible. One is going to be the monsoon set, so the second season basically, and the other one is going to be the dry season. Dry season is basically going to have either increased redeployment time, which is annoying but not particularly impacting. But the other one is, however, a gigantic pain in the butt because it has some wind which goes from any direction, reducing your operator's attack speed by 50%. And that's a big problem because for people like Ethan or Ascalon or Chubai, it just makes it so much less reliable to actually kill things. And it also increases the kill time by a bunch. Ultimately, you could use an Omni Umbrella, or you could place structures in such a way that you don't have to deal with this. I don't recommend you to do this. If you see this, literally just restart the critical contention, because the other set of weather, which is one zone, is so much easier. I did complain about the thunderstorm being a bit bullshit at time by nuking some of your operators at random, but you have to put in much less effort to actually deal with this. Acid Rain, we don't care about. Thunderburst, we don't care about. The only one which is dangerous is Thunderstorm. And again, you have ways to counter this. So I would recommend to just reroll critical contention until you get this set of weather, because the other one is just pain. Do we have the effect? Yeah, this one is just fire. Scorching Sun. The stun plus this. Yeah, there's nothing with the wind here. Ah, yeah, okay, yeah, this would be the weather. So the other set of weather you can get when you start would be something like this. So increase deployment time and the wind that reduces your attack speed. Very annoying. Other alternative would be this, which you don't care about. Increase your deployment time is like whatever. And there was a third one. Yes, this one. Yeah, just basic sandstorm, so only minus 30 attack speed, but it's still very annoying. So you have two weathers that are very annoying, and one which you don't care about. Well, if you have the monsoon set of weather, there's only one that you need to care about, and you still have some fairly comfortable ways of dealing with it. So yeah. This one we are going to be using on... I guess we can use this. On our pianos, we'll be having Optilopsis to make our life easier. Let's go. I've not checked how long the video is, but I think it's going to be pretty long. I also need to rework this freaking map. Like, I need to actually cut down most of the trees and place some actual barriers. I already adapted the map a bit, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Oh, there are a lot more enemies than I thought, but it's not going to matter. There we go. I'm in position where I can... No. Let me edit this. There we go. I'm also going to be adding one there. That's no trouble. Alright. So yeah, while I'm at it, I'm going to be adding this one here. So the reason why there's this red thing is because some raids just, you have some enemies that go this way, pop, 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 then they go here, and then they have to go all the way back. Which is a bit awkward, but it's enough. Another reason why I would want to cut the trees is because I don't have much room. Like, I'm planning a lot of the raids with the Windbringer in mind because he is the one that's most dangerous, and being able to cut a bunch of trees would certainly make things a lot smoother. So I can actually start placing some of these as well in preparation for that. Realistically, if I do another run, I'll prepare this map again, because having a map that's prepared in advance is so important. By default, if you just try to intercept a raid that's particularly difficult, it's going to be a mess. If you don't already have a bunch of walls set up. You might as well just do it. Let's go placing some more. Oopsie. Click. I sure hope you're not too far in front. You are too far in front. Well, that's annoying. Annoying, but not critical. And that way I'll be able to cut most of the trees and there will be some room. I'll be able to set up things in such a way that I'll be able to deal with the spiders as well, which would be nice. The explosive slugs from the Ringbringer, because let's be honest, the other bosses, the raids from the other bosses, doesn't really matter much. Most of the time you can just use an Alpenus and call it a day, or you can use the Ethan Escadon plus a shifter, so F-hitter OED. That's nice. These are the last enemies, and we are going... Yeah, they're all stunned, so we're gonna be adding this with a hungry dogu to eat people. Eat the people. We're going to die very fast. Eat them! Go, kill me! Nom 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 nom. There we go. So, as I said, there will be a refresh next day. Dum dum dum, we'll get our production. And what do we have? We got a line breaker with... Okay, so these have been added to the raid. And they frankly don't matter, it's a giant whatever. Now I think about it, I don't usually try to push a line breaker. Maybe I should. Lost orders! Ah, it has a thunderstorm. I really dislike the thunderstorm. I've been doing some very weird experiments with Lost orders. This map is just weird. This map is just extremely weird. And the Dust Weaver, we don't really care. It's one of the easiest raid. So I guess I'm just gonna take care of the line breaker and push him down the hole or something. Sounds like a great plan to save a lot of time. So we'll do just that. We'll do just that. We want a weedy, an Olayak, a nymph with SP cost down. I can also give her an SP battery, if need be. So we got our stalling set up. We want puzzle, and then for the rest we just want our null penis, and we'll be using a QB to clean most of the raid along with actually I think I'm gonna do one sec. Yeah, because the side raider is going to go to Windswept Ravine, and I can't really intercept there. Now that I think about it. But goodbye. So next day I can't really intercept the boss, but I can always intercept the Dust Weaver. That said, it's thunderstorm. It's pretty annoying. Do I care to do this? I don't really know. I don't really know. We'll see. Also, I've been doing a bunch of changes to Lost Orders, more experiments because there are a bunch of checkpoints all around the map. for some of the raids. I think for that one there's nothing, but we'll see how it goes. Let's clear this. Let's clear this. Do I want to give you DP down? Yeah, just this. We can give you DP down. That's fine. There it goes. So we got our DP down. We got our setup. We do want to kill, so I'm gonna bring. I guess I would pick foods that I need specifically to. So wait, maybe on Aya Suzu. It's not great. It's not great. I know I'm spending a lot of time here, but I'm legitimately saving so much time by not doing the other things, so I'm gonna save Read Altar for the other one, along with the umbrella, because it's just gonna need to be a lot easier. Alright. Yeah, that's good enough. Good enough. Let's put some of these. Let's go. How many? Yeah, 73 minutes in. Alright. Let's go. Give me money. It's no big deal. Now that I think about it, there it goes. I was thinking where I wanted to position openers, and I was starting to think, hey, I actually need to think about it, how I'm going to do the setup there, so it's better if openers is within range. Also, I need to edit where the thing is. There we go. I'm using mobile player, and it's just that I have a button bound to easily press the skill, but I just have to move around the position a little bit every time. So here we're gonna have a nymph. I should have brought Spalter now that I think about it, because now I'm going to be a bit reliant on RNG to get some good timing, but it's not going to matter much. Also, now that I think about it, the boss can be stunned, which is a bit of a problem, but or not, because I don't have to micromanage two. Never mind, I don't have to micromanage two things. Everything is perfect. Everything is exactly as calculated. So now we're just going to wait until basically the entire raid dies. Which I will probably, I'll take pity on you and we'll skip this spot. Alright, we are done. So we don't need you, we don't need you. Let's say, oh, she already has the ESP battery. Okay. That's the setup I've used so far, I think. It's not the right way, good sir. You have to go the way back. Good. So, I don't use nymphs that often, but for that one, it's pretty nice. If the enemy has a weight of 6, it's a bit of pain to move with like Widdy and all. So one way to deal with it is just to use nymph, because she can just tell the enemies, hey, can you move that direction, please? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast a first one. Now, if you don't know how nymph S2 works, the way it works is basically going to draw like 90-degree angle starting from like, okay, so basically you draw a line between nymph and the target, and 45 degree to either side, the enemy will look for some possible valid tiles. So in this case, it's going to be something like this. So some of the tiles here are going to be considered valid. The boss or any target is going to try to move to that tile, and then they are going to move randomly within that tile if they actually do reach it. The thing you can do as well is, because it doesn't last all that long, it's only 5 seconds. When the boss is about to leave Nymph's range, I can cast it again. It's going to do the calculation yet again. With this, it's going to make it extremely likely that the boss is going to end up in this tile, where the cannon is. With this, I can actually do particular timing along with WD to just push the boss. So in theory, you don't need anything else to actually push a wave 6 enemy. So here I can just do this, and that should be enough. And we don't have to wait 40 to 50 minutes for the boss to die, which is amazing. For that particular boss, you can also just stun or freeze or do whatever to the boss, because that one can be stunned. If it's someone like Araphic with a bit more of a pain, you can place like some defenders, like just have a bunch of random defenders, because they have free block and they can stall enough that it's not a problem. Or you could be using Spectre and activate your skill 2 to buy WD some time to charge a skill twice, fire twice, and the boss is going to fall to them. You don't need Nymph, but it's just that she just makes this tactic a lot easier. So now you'll be able to see what kind of abomination I made in those orders, and if you are going, there's a good chance you're going to say, what the heck is this mess? Which is, yeah, it is a bit of a mess. It is a bit of a mess. You'll see in just a second. We're gonna be using some people. We're gonna be using a feature. And I'm starting to realize that I don't actually have a way to really push the boss, because I don't have Angelina, I don't have another weight S. I don't think I can move the boss. It's a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem. Definitely wanted to buy on skill 1 along with this. Perfect. Okay, I don't think I actually clear this boss. Change of plans. Because the Serrator, an interesting part about it is that the Serrator can actually be pushed if the Serrator falls to the ground. So what you do is, you damage the Serrator enough that its HP drops below a certain percent of HP. You wait for the boss to actually repair his vehicle, because while the boss is repairing the vehicle, push does not work. So you wait for the boss to actually repair the vehicle, and then you push the boss, saving a bunch of time. But I don't have Weedy, I don't have all, so I'm just going to skip straight to that one, who also has a Thunderburst. It kinda sucks, but we're just going to be doing this. So, I am a Glaucus Enjoyer, and you're going to see exactly why. So we don't need Ascalon anymore, we don't need a feature, we don't need Ethan. I could still use Ascalon just to yeah, just to speed things up. We don't need logos. Ifrit QB is going to be good enough. We don't really need to buy, no, we don't need to buy. All we want is Glaucus, and I did use Suzerain, didn't I? I did use Suzerain. It's okay. Dinopsis is good enough. Dinopsis. We can add Reed, for more damage multipliers, Saya for more damage multipliers. This is a small map, so we're going to be picking Operation Kit, so that I actually have time to deploy things. And yeah, we're basically set. Let's go. Very easy boss, overall. Just Glocus everything. Glocus or Ifan plus Askanon and a Weedy, for example. You have plenty of ways to approach the fight, so definitely a non-issue. There we go. So we'll have Glocus will be here, and we're going to feed you a bunch of devices. We'll add Tilopsis here. She has a module, so she's going to give a tiny bit of extra SP recovery compared to if she was outside of range. You can start doing this. These little runners at the start are, funnily enough, the most dangerous, because they can get pretty darn close. Actually, now I think about it, I should activate you as well. So I think I might freeze. Yeah, I can freeze. I'm gonna freeze. There we go. And I'm gonna be adding an Askanon to slow them down, so that a bad timing is not going to screw me over on Glocus if there's a bit of a mistime on her skill activation. So we generate a bit more DP, and we can start placing some extra operators. Nope, not you. I wanted to get rid. There we go. We can move you. We can place it right here. Now we just need a Saria, and that's gonna be good. I'm going to, okay, is it? No, okay. Just editing, 1 sec. There we go. And that's it, I can activate the skill. We're going to let the enemies move forward just a little more. Okay. The boss is within range of QB, so we're just going to burst everything, and we just have to refresh Goku's skill. So it's not as practical as Opinus, because you need a bunch of SP batteries to actually function. But yeah, it's nice. If you have not, if you have not built your blow sub, now is the time. You don't have an excuse anymore. You've seen what you can do. Okay, arguably she's only going to be able to do these kind of things in RA CC because you can just abuse just how much SP you have. So understandably it's not that good. Also the boss is almost at half HP already and doesn't revive, so yeah. This boss has the bad luck of having very high defense relative to its HP, meaning that QB is just having breakfast. Talking of breakfast, it's slightly past lunchtime, so I'll be having my burgers after this fight. Shouldn't take too long. There it goes. Seriously, a Colossus takes about as long to kill as a boss does. Truly a pitiful boss. That said, if you don't have QB, yeah, that's going to be pain. Alright, and the boss is dead. Oops. No, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, and the rest is just going to be screen up. So same thing. There's nothing really threatening. Just a bit of time spent because some of the enemies being Colossus having too much HP. And there we are, this is done. And we get a Glaucus in the final screen. Totally rigged. Praise be the blue slug. You can sacrifice all your earthly positions to the blue slug. That's okay. Alright. Day 494. Another raid has spawned. So this one will just be about 2 marathons, and I'm just going to skip this for you, and yeah, we'll see. I'll see you in exactly 5 seconds on day 495 until I'm done with this. After a nice lunch, let's get to it. So, this is actually the second run I've done. The reason why you do slug races is because good gold, seasoning, which is used to get some special effects from some provisions, and lightning ore, which is always nice and used for a bunch of rare tools. So, ideally, you should not have to do this, but it's the only way my lightning ore reserve is stable. Right, so there's only the Sail Raider. Yeah, it's going to be the exact same fight that I already showed you, so I'm just going to go over the composition once more, but I'm going to skip the entire fight because you already saw it. You already saw it. At least the nice thing is, oh, actually, you know what I can do? I can do something absolutely amazing, which is yeah, I'm going to show you that you can in fact send the Sail Raider into a pit, which is a lot funnier than the alternative. So we'll do this. We'll do this again. So openness to take care of the raid. Definitely a we. And the rest is going to be Mudrock and fast replies, I guess. White foot, gravel, project red. Let me just check. We don't need the operation kits. So, bunch of fast replies. We can even have the Stoyato. Puzzle, nymph, all witty, openness, Mudrock. If you buy. I guess, yeah, I'm going to be adding Locus back in, or maybe, well, QB works. QB works. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it this way. So, just a way of showing, hey, you can actually do this if you want to bully absolutely all bosses, it's actually possible. It's actually possible. You can decide to bully everyone. There we go. Boom. We'll just be having an Alpinus right here. Activating the skill. Retreating. Placing this so that we don't have the effect anymore. Just gonna hit it. One sec. So, Arknights is going to draw the aggro from the boss. But it's going to keep regenerating the shield. So we're gonna be placing Chubai. Actually, I'm gonna place Chubai here so that the boss is not too far. And that way. Yeah, that's good like this. Yeah, that's good like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'll have to place the Ifrit in the back. We can place a QB. We can place 3D. Even if the boss falls, she still is going to have the shield, so that's fine. That said, I do want to be careful because if she really loses the shield, bad things are going to happen. So I do have to keep this in mind. So because of this, I'm gonna be placing Raid to absorb some of the attacks in case of bad timing. There we go. Yeah, you can really mess up the boss targeting. You can see how he's doing his animations several times. There we go. We're gonna be placing an effect. You do have to be careful with the timing. Okay, so I'm going to let the boss attack. Projectile is here. Actually, Ifrit has camouflage, so I'm bothering for no good reason. But it doesn't matter. First deploy. And from there, we basically have everything. This is going to explode. I can just remove it right away and I'll resolve it. So I'll see you in just a little bit when Missile Raid is down and when the boss drops, so that we can so I can show that you can in fact throw the Accelerator into a pit. Alright, boss is down. So now we're going to remove this, we're going to place roll, we're going to place Nymph, reactivate the skill to refresh your shield. We're going to remove Shubai because we want the boss to actually be able to move. Once more. And launch. Beautiful. This is pretty satisfying, I have to say, because this is such an annoying boss to deal with, so being able to just say, nope, you go down the hole now, it's pretty nice. There's only this, I already mentioned, we don't really care about that one. The day is 495, restocks in 1 day, which means that the next boss refresh is going to be in 1 day. Usually I would go to this map to get my lightning ore and my seasoning, but I'm gonna go here just to showcase what the heck is going on here. I'll craft a few of these. Alright. We're going to fail, it doesn't matter. It's are you sure you don't want to rig any operators? Yes. I am in fact certain. Alright. So this is a thing. And the walls look really weird. It's not going to work for every squad. However, there are some interesting behaviors, to say the least. So let's say I am facing the Ruinbringer. The Ruinbringer in particular has a very weird raid where they are going to go around this central island right here. So some of the enemies, they tend to have different pathing, but they want to go around this. So they will try, and actually I need to change this for automatic barrier. What's going to be happening is some of the enemies, because they want to go around, they'll basically follow this path. Some will actually go down this because they have a checkpoint within the wall. If there is a wall where the checkpoint is, they will still go through it. So once they are there, they want to get to the next checkpoint. So it's going to be there for some of them. So they might come down. After this, they will go there, then appear inside the wall itself, and then they have to go all the way back where the Colossus is standing to actually complete their final checkpoint and then finally be able to leave. I have a few videos. I'm going to be showing one on the screen. Actually, I'm going to be showing two on the screen with setups. So the first one is a more reasonable one, where I actually have a setup on the bottom left, where it's pretty nice, but there is not much room for Woody to be positioned usually. If you want to push enemies, the timings are really tight. It's kind of cramped. There are a few issues with setup, but it can lead to some pretty funny results where the enemies just they just start going to a checkpoint and then they just turn back. Like they have 2 tiles from blue box, but just decide, okay, you know what? Let me go all the way back. This is certainly something. You can actually abuse it with the raid in particular, because if you have Necrosis Transmitter, the fireballs would explode, apply Necrosis to all the enemies, and because the enemies will spend a lot of time just stacking each other and just going up around, they will take a lot of Necrosis damage overall. So for me, it doesn't matter anymore, because the enemies are starting to have just way too much HP. But if you want to do this in your run, you can do something pretty fancy like this. Now, the second one is this map actually put into practice, and you can see what's going on. There are some very odd things. Ideally, I would want to be able to put things into such a position that I can consistently push the boss into the pit. I don't have a problem so much with the Annihilator, for example, with a very easy boss, or with the Dustweaver. It's just the Windbringer. The Windbringer is the actually difficult one. Araphic, for example, can be dangerous for Woody because it tends to... how do I put this? The issue is not so much with Araphic as it is with the Rockvein Guardians, who reflect art damage. Because if Woody pushes those, and they are pushed through a long distance without falling into a pit, she will, every 2 frames, she will take 200 arts damage. At 30 frames per second, that's 15 times 200, she'll take 3000 arts damage per second, which is not survivable, so she will instantly explode. And that's if there's just one of them being pushed. So you really want to make sure that if you're pushing Rockbane Guardians, there's a pit right behind them. Otherwise it doesn't work. But for this Brainbreaker, I've been looking for experiments, and the reason why we have such a weird design is specifically to try and abuse checkpoints as much as possible. Alright, so now we're back to the main map. There are a few issues, obviously. One mentioned is that the enemies can just pass through this because they have a checkpoint here. So what I think I'm going to be doing, and some of the experiments I want to make, because it's not all the strats are not set. You have to keep experimenting, and this is what I want to change, because that way Woody is going to be sitting where the watchtower is, and enemies will actually have to go there. Now there are some issues in particular with Woody's targeting, because usually, well, it's not usually, it's there's a problem. Woody's cannon does not have the same kind of targeting as she does. Woody's cannon will try to push enemies that are closer to the blue box, generally speaking, while the cannon is going to try to target enemies that are closest to it. So if there is an enemy where the watchtower is, and the Colossus is replaced with the cannon will try to shoot the watchtower. But if there is an enemy here, right next to the pit, Woody will instead target this one, which can be a problem. So I'm trying to mitigate this. And now that I think about it, I'm considering, okay, if enemies have a checkpoint, if enemies have a checkpoint here, I could actually put a wall there, remove this barrier, and all those that come from this side will have to go there. Okay, I think I have something. I have to rework a few things. So instead, we're going to do it this way, which also means we can remove this wall. This is not going to matter. So actually you can see it in part with the Colossus, because you can see the Colossus went to this point and now he wants to get where the watchtower is. So he has to go all the way around. Well, Woody will be there. Woody will be there. And if enemies are here, I can place Olayak where the watchtower currently is, facing left, and the enemies here will have weightless supply to them. Now it's one of the situations where it's infinitely better to have Angelina over Olayak, but I don't have Angelina. If you do, you can just place a battle money here, activate Angelina's skill, and forget about taking risk. So in theory, this setup should be pretty safe. In theory, the setup should be pretty safe. I don't think I'll be able to showcase this for those remaining few days, but it's a nice way of saying, hey, you can actually do some very weird shenanigans with the checkpoints. As you can see, the Colossus is still being confused. Alright, let's interrupt this because there is nothing to farm here. Oh yeah, 2 crude gold. That would completely change my life. Overall, Lost Rovers is definitely the fanciest map if you want to try some very weird things with checkpoints. Just because there are so many of them. Alright, we're getting pretty close. There will be another refresh. I mean, after showcasing this, I have to. Besides, what do we have here? Okay, so this is a non-issue. They're currently in Strawberry Galore, which is a pain, so I'll just deal with both raids when they are at this outpost, and I will save an act because I can just take I can take down both of them at the same time. Maybe just buy mining ore. The remaining one is on Arafik. Now, where is Arafik going? Yeah, it's not going through straight into the abyss, so no pushing him. Treasure in the trees. Yeah, we can definitely do this. We can definitely nuke Arafik here. Hopefully it won't be thunderstorm. And yeah, that's just a viz. So this you want to wait. That map is not great, especially since it also has thunderstorm. Thunderstorm is especially deadly on smaller maps because lightning just drops randomly. So very small maps means you massively increase the odds that one of your operators is going to get hit by 2 lightning at the same time. So on smaller maps, definitely pick on Omni Umbrella. And yeah. Alright, back to this. The weather is acid rain, which is perfect. And we're going to try some things. I have no idea whether it's going to work. As mentioned, it's very difficult because the boss is it is in terms of rate. The boss himself, once you have him locked down with Chuba, you've basically won because you just need to do a spalter stalling, and that's it. That's it. You don't have to do anything. So that one is more interesting in how it happens. I have a few ways to go about it. I could decide to give Woody the camouflage food instead of the SP down food, which I think is what I'm going to do, so that I don't have to worry about her getting nuked by enemies. So we'll be doing this. I don't need anything else. Let's pick this. There it is. Alright. Oileak doesn't really matter because she needs a battlement to be deployed, so a big whatever. I don't think I'm gonna be doing any other raid, so I can actually bring the full squad. We'll be bringing an Ascalon to slow down the enemies. I have a Spalter on skill 2. I could try to also bring a F feature. She already has a camo food to help push some more. And I guess a Kafka. I can bring a Kafka. Also, I really should have made the 1 second. This food. Yeah, I can actually craft this food. Alright. I mean, it's the one that makes more sense, so. Go. Happy Kafka. And so Kafka will be there along with Ethan to stall. We're just going to stall, force the boss in one position. Hopefully you drop a Spalter and then send the boss to his doom. If everything is going fine, that's what will happen. Now we want Operation Kit to get extra DP, and that's pretty much it. If the rest of the raid still manages to go through, I don't particularly care. Actually, I'm going to pick Ptilopsis. Now I think about it. Extra spirit recovery is always nice. I have no idea whether it's going to work. It's a very experimental. You are saying experimentation, science is happening live. So hold on to your chair, hold on to everything that you can, because it's going to be probably a dramatic failure. Whoopsie. If I can't even do my prostrate smoothly. There we go. So yeah, if you take a look at the red path, you can see it doing some very weird things. Actually, yeah, take a look at this red path. You see what it's doing? All the checkpoints they have to go through. So they're going up, and then they're going down, and they're going through there, and then they're going up again, and then they're finally leaving. So yeah, some funny shenanigans. We'll have Ascalon here, we'll have Woody here. Tyropsis can be sitting there. So it should be okay. It should be okay. Also, some enemy is moving there for some reason. It's very weird. It's very weird. Trying to understand all that goes into this sometimes doesn't make sense. I'm thinking that I could possibly cheese it some more by placing a barrier down there and then removing this too. It's not going to be doing that much, but it does mean that the enemies will have to go all the way around even more, so we can do this. Bye bye. Yeah, because we see the boss go down. Alright. We'll see if it works. We'll see if it works. Oh, it doesn't nice. It's okay. Eclipsis will only take one attack because the boss has doesn't have quite enough range. Doesn't have quite enough range. Actually, I would have been smart. I would place Tylopsis on the tile to the right instead. Or heck, I would have made battlements where Elysium is, and they're facing up so that she can still buff Woody. But it's okay. It's not going to matter much. It's not going to matter much. So we're seeing the slowdown. So we do this just to clear up everything, and we have a bunch of fireballs which are going to be a bit annoying. I'm going to use Kafka to make the guy fall asleep. We're gonna be using you with your invulnerability. Next, we're going to give some extra SP recovery to Rudy. Oops. Alright. So in theory, if everything I've done so far is correct, I can place this to bait some range attacks. Place a cannon here. Then I have a Layak here. Activate with his skill. Layak should be just in time, the boss should fall to his doom. Perfect execution, 10 out of 10, would do again. Oh, this is beautiful, I love it. So you've seen Science is making, it turns out that Science worked this time. And I love it. So part of the reason why I also wanted to go for this setup instead of the one at the bottom is that Woody is in a safe position. Like, she has camouflage, she's not going to die. Enemies will never get to her position. Well, if she was here and enemies could just go through there, I wouldn't be able to place her there for very long because you have a bunch of fireballs, you have explosive slugs, it's a mess. So it's way too dangerous. So with this setup, it's actually safe and it's going to force the enemies to go back and forth, and I'll get opportunities, and you can see the red trail going back up, down. So even if some enemies get past Ascalon, they're going to go back, and I'll be able to use Woody again to get more opportunities to punch them in a bit. So now, Effiter, who also happens to have Camel Food, will be able to be played there, and we can just keep bullying the enemies over and over again. So this should be an easy clear. Geopsis is going to die, but doesn't really matter. Same for Ruse. We already have our DP anyway, so I'm just going to replace that one with this. There is no reason why it shouldn't work, but why you would explode, but oh well. There we go. Oh, some enemies go to Effiter's position. Okay, noted. That's true. That's true. Actually, there is a stall that's made with Ethan and then because Witty has quite the splash, so it's actually going to be slightly overkill. There we go. Kaboom! Yeah, there's a checkpoint there, so enemies are doing kind of whatever. Alright. Alright, I'll see you in just a moment. Alright. So we're almost done. Actually, you stay here. Pew! Where are you going? Are you going to the blue box? Nope. It's going back. It's coming back. And then where? Where to? Where to? And then it's going left. Like, this is what happens when you play too much RA. This is what happens. you get to even understand all the checkpoints and how to abuse this. It's beautiful. It's like, do you not get bored of recognition algorithm? It's like, why? How will you get bored? How will you get bored when you have this kind of things happening? It's amazing. Alright. For the rest, I'm just gonna wait till Voo's merge, and then I'll get rid of Voo's. And let me check. Treasure and trinkets and feathers. Yeah, there's no other raid spawning, so I can just wait. I'll be doing this, and I'll be back in exactly 1 second. Alright, this is the next day. So, there's Thunderburst here. Okay, so I have time technically because the next cycle is in 2 days, so I could very well just wait until Alarific gets to this, to Gathering of Feathers instead. I could use a stall strat here with Ethan Escadon and Pusher, but I don't really have the tools to actually damage a raid if I try to burst down Alarific. So it's probably going to take a long while, and I'll definitely skip a big part of it because it's going to really take a long while. But we're going to burst down Alarific instead. So, you... do I care about giving you this? I don't think I do. I don't think I care about the food either way. Apart maybe from reeds. I do want to give it to Reed because she is being dropped against Horrific. So it is important that she has this. Saria and Ifrit, they're not going to matter as well. Unless I want to cycle a lot. So I guess I can give it to Saria. That's fine. I like food is not much of a problem anyway, so I'm fine. Oh, fragrant pollen, yeah. I did some tests. This gives the vanilla wing is one of the companions. So in the showcase that I did where you get to day 18 in critical contention without using any operators, I used the vanilla wing. And I was pretty rude to basically all three of the possible exotic beasts. But vanilla wing, if you have operators, has an actually good effect where the operator... Okay, so the vanilla wing seeds tiles, and if operators are placed on those tiles, they're going to get a massive attack speed buff. 40 ASPD is a lot. It's really a lot. So I'm gonna be crafting this. Ideally, I wouldn't be using this, but again, I am missing a bunch of operators. The joy of being free to play and not being able to pull on every single banner. So I don't have Hack. I will try to get him at some point, but until then, I'll be using some vanilla wing to get some leeway. I don't need this. And for the time being, I don't need it. But you know, it's mostly an extra safety measure in case I really screw up. There should be no reason. It's just a way of saying, well, if you don't have Act, you can actually use this, and it's going to work just fine. Right. We're gonna recraft. Well, I guess we're gonna craft one phantomatic barrier. I think I'm pretty much set. For most of the maps. There is one map within range that I need to rework in order for it to be more stable. But apart from this, I don't really have a need for more phantomatic barriers, so that's nice. And because some people also asked, is there any point to phantomatic barrier 2 versus just using the urban style barrier 3? Because they are both invisible, right? It's like, no. This one has camouflage. Camouflage makes it so that enemies can't target you directly, but if there is a splash effect, like some of the rocket launcher enemies, if they fire at an operator next to one of those barriers, the barrier is going to take damage. If there are explosive slugs and you kill the explosive slugs, they are going to blow up and they will also damage nearby constructs. This is with camouflage. If you have invisible, this is a different status effect, which is going to make you immune to splash damage. Which is why you want to have a bunch of phantomatic barriers, phantomic barriers, if you're going to be dealing with a Windbringer, and not just a basic tier 3 barrier. It does cost a lot more. It costs 5 landing holes instead of 1. But it's a worthy sacrifice considering it allows you to have a viable defense against what is possibly one of the most threatening raid. So yeah, I think we have everything. We have enough for the reveal, we have the mines, we have the attack speed, openness, we have enough to burst down things, so let's go. The weather is Thunderburst, so we don't care about it. It's not going to do anything threatening. So no need for Nami Umbrella, no need for anything in theory. There we go. What do we want? Definitely need us to get a bit of extra DP. We'll have an old piano sitting right here with actually I should have placed Suzuki. That's okay. That's okay. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'll be stunning the boss slightly further down to avoid some issues I had in the past. Suzuki here. Place this. Also have a Saria. Okay, I don't have to rebind my shortcut, which is great. Let's have a few minutes while I read here. And QB facing down. And now it's just a question of cycling and cleaning up the raid. So it's going to take a bit of time. But I'll see you in just a few seconds. Okay, we are done. So with this second part, it's all going to be about the setup. So I need to think how I'm going to position everyone. Okay, so when it comes to positioning, actually I'm gonna have to use Saria to push the boss back because I want the boss to be split box to ensure that it gets it by to the interference mines. So we'll be waiting 1 minute for this. I'll wait to see if the boss is actually in position that I can use reliably. We'll definitely have Ifrit here because Chubai will be removed and I'll be able to give the potion to Ifrit, so that's no problem. Either way, we want to have Ines deploy a sentinel there so the boss gets revealed. And the rest is going to be all about how do we want to position QB. I don't 1, 2, 3, 4. So QB should be there, but I'm gonna wait. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So QB can be right here, and yeah, she's in a position to attack. We have Silence Altar, which is going to provide invulnerability. We want Suran here because the scale will be in range of the boss. Now we just need to wait for Saya to come back. We'll be able to place her like right in front, right to the left of Chibai. And that will be it. Now the problem is I forgot to put one resource away, but okay. So the Vanilla Wing. I mentioned the Vanilla Wing and you can see that the tiles are being sold here. So I'm going to put this back there. By the way, this one increases the attack speed, which is why it has to be tier 3. All the other ones can be tier 1. There is no reason whatsoever for you to ever pick a tier 2 battlement. And we're just gonna wait for both QB and Saria to come back and DPS the boss. I'll see you in 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so here we are. The boss is starting to drop fairly low on HP. So, it's horrific. It's horrific. I can go into more explanation as to what exactly is going on. The issue with horrific is not his phase 1. His phase 1, you can see you can just spam a stall, it's not a problem. The rest of his phase 1, whatever. He only has to block, he has an unpowered attack, but you don't want to block him anyway, unless you have a bunch of shield. It's not going to matter. The dangerous phase is phase 2. Every time you damage a boss during phase 2, it's going to reflect damage for half of its attack. It's a one-shot. It's a one-shot, so you need to build around this. We need to make sure that everyone who deals damage to the boss is literally invincible. For the first 10 seconds, Silence Altar will provide that vulnerability for KOB. We have 30 seconds to kill the boss, otherwise it goes back to phase 1 and full HP, you have to restart the entire fight. So you have 30 seconds to kill the boss, even though he reflects damage so much that he's going to one-shot anyone who dares attack him. And he has infinite HP and defense. Eventually. So that's a very easy fight, as you might imagine, and QB is the only one who can actually kill the boss. Along with a bunch of buffers and debuffers. So we have Ifrit for the res down, Suzerain for the fragile effect, Saria with her S3 because it's a unique arts, it's an arts fragility but it's untagged, hence plus 55% damage. We have Reed on S3. Why not S2? Because S3 actually guarantees the debuff to be there and we don't care about Reed's damage. It also means that we don't have to... If we used S2, we will also need to have an operator next to the boss. And it just makes things easier because we want to be using mines anyway. In S, easier to reveal the boss during phase 2 because he is invisible unless you block him. So either you place a blocker, even a reactive barrier will be fine. Or use Ines, or I guess one of Scene's summon, for example, would also do. And yeah, that's basically it. That's then we have the restanding potion. So it makes operators invulnerable for 20 seconds. And it has a redeployment time of 5 seconds. So QB is going to do an attack as soon as the boss appears, and she's going to die. Drop to 1 HP straight up. Activating, she has 10 seconds during which she won't be able to fall. Right before this happens, however, we have to give the restanding potion to Ifrit, so that for the slightly less than 20 seconds, because of this, she's going to be providing her res down. After 5 seconds, slightly less than 5 seconds, we're gonna drop Reed Altar on top of on the tile right above Suzerain, and we're going to give her the same restanding potion right away. Talking about this, I'm going to rotate this so that I actually have a spot to use a potion. And after yet another 5 seconds, I'll finally give the restanding potion to QB when there is 1 second or so left on Silence Altar's skill. On top of this, QB is going to need all the attack speed that she can get. So if you have an ACK, you absolutely want to use an ACK for the 50 attack speed. You also want to use this refreshing potion, so it gives 1 attack speed for 30 seconds, but it forces you to retreat after the time runs out. It doesn't matter because the boss second phase is only going to last 30 seconds, so if you haven't killed the boss by then, it's too late. Apart from this, we have the Vanilla Wing, who has, I think it says here, yeah, they can sow tiles and give ally 40 attack speed. So you can see it because QB has the flowers on her, so does Silence Altar, so does Saria. Actually, no, the flower is for something else. Well, at least QB has it. QB has it. Doesn't matter. I'm spreading misinformation. That's bad. That's bad. But yeah. SQB has extra attack speed. The boss is going to get absolutely destroyed. There is much more than I need to use there. I don't need the vanilla wing and the boss is going to die. So we are going to start placing those mines. Now those mines need a bit of time to charge up. They need 25 seconds. So after it shows 14 seconds, I'm gonna be placing the second mine. Yeah, 15 even, okay. I think I can, yeah, I can activate the skill right away, it's fine. We're going to push. There we go. The mine at the bottom is almost ready, but it hasn't exploded just yet. So now we're going to retreat July. We're going to activate Silence Alter skill, because we want to make sure QB does not die. I'll be activating Suzerain skill. I wait a bit. We can see the rate HP bar of the boss fill up fairly fast. There we go. At about half, activating Suzerain skill and giving a potion, a Restanding potion to Ifrit. After this, we go back up. I'm prepared to give the refreshing potion to QB. The second she... There we go. The second it happens, you release. I'm doing some press shenanigans. There we go. We activate Saria. We activate Ifrit. We go back up. The moment the first projectile lands, QB's HP is going to drop to 1. That means we can retreat Silence Alter because we don't want Silence Alter to heal QB. She has a food which increases her attack speed when her HP is down. So you don't want to heal QB. There we go. You can see QB's HP is super low. We retreat Silence Alter. Next on the line, we have Reed Altars that we need to deploy and then give the Restanding potion really quickly. I'm going to do this, activate the skill, and I'm ready to give. There we go. The final step is to give the Restanding potion to QB. I can't show you the boss HP, but you can see that he's getting it for 64,000 per hit, or something like this. So now it is fairly tight. So as soon as, there we go, and this is game over. If it didn't even die, which means we killed the boss in less than 20 seconds. So it goes to show just how overkill the setup is. I wanted to use a vanilla wing to showcase how much damage you can do. Other possible consideration for our graphic is that if you have a lot of potentials for some of your operators, it's going to be a lot easier. Let me show you. So if there's no difference, Saria has no difference. However, Reed Altar has a talent that applies, so it's 30% odds fragility, but if you have potentials, you can get 2% extra odds fragility. If you have Suzerain, she's going to give, so basically her S3 doubles the effectiveness of the fragile effect, which by default is 22%. So doubled is 44%, but if you have potential, you can bring it up to 50% during S3. And finally, we have QB herself. Yeah, so you want to be using X, and you deal a percentage of the enemy's defense. So she deals up to 75% of the enemy's defense every time she's an enemy. And with potentials, you could get an extra 4%. So yeah. All those things come into consideration for if you're trying to burst down the boss, so I mentioned the Vanilla Wing. If you are in, so this was in the wild, if you are in headquarters or outpost, this is actually going to be easier due to the logistic effects, because here you have one where operators deal 8% more damage and double in HQ outpost, and you also get a bit more attack speed. So if you struggle with bursting down the boss, you can still do it in outpost or HQ. Though if you're really struggling, usually it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. Next, we have these, and these are going to be, in theory, this should be very easy. I hope it is also easy in practice. I hope it's going to be easy in practice. Part of the issue here is that I don't really have casters anymore. So I could use Nymph, I could use the Glaucus. I think it's going to be a very long clear. Oh yeah, it's going to be a very long clear. Okay. Definitely a Logos. Yeah, because I basically used all my damage potential to burst down Alrafik, which is what I mentioned before the attempt. Okay, where is Ethan? F-eater. Where is Ethan? Ethan. Here we go. So definitely gonna give you some food for extra attack and attack speed. I am absolutely 100% picking Neural Chain because the boss is going to take ages already, so we'll pick this. Definitely camouflage food for Ascalon, and DP stole with Ethan and Ascalon, plus within F-eater to push the enemy back. Nymph for Necrosis, plus possibly stall, Glaucus more as a bonus, and Logos is just there to deal damage. I think that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. It's not going to be a difficult fight, it's just going to be long. So once the raid is clear, I'll probably just skip to the end for the boss. Alright. So I have to remove these because they are rocket launcher enemies, and if they do this, they will be able to move really fast. And I don't want them to move really fast, so... There we go. Logos as an assist. Yeah, that would be nice. Oopsie. Keep on pushing back, and we'll kill the entire raid this way. I should definitely give Woody some extra SP. No, just oops. Oh, frames. Okay. I'll just go from this. Nice one. Okay, sorry. Things don't really matter because yeah, you can just activate all this, keep pushing, that's fine. We have an inferior for the stall, slightly later down the line. I don't particularly care if the bullies get through because there are not that many of them, and also they require free block to be stopped, so Weedy is not going to be nuked. The boss will kill Weedy, but not the bullies. Here we go. Look at this. Okay, that's nice. That was a whiff. I think all the rocket launcher enemies have been eliminated. Keep stunning slightly more. Okay. And we are almost done for this part. There we go. Yeah, we are going to just leave this bully. We can retreat everyone. And we are going to do a stall right here. It's gonna take a bit of time. It's gonna take a bit of time. That's gonna be annoying. But well. So there are some oddities with fear. But yeah, okay, this time it works. There were a few times where... Uh-oh. Yeah, okay, that's what I mean. This is why I don't want to rely on Nymph. I was like, is it going to work? Probably not. The enemies, from what I've seen, can just decide to not care about the walls at all, so... As long as I do it at the edge of Nymph's range, it's going to be fine. But yeah, it's it sucks. This is really going to suck. It's going to be a lot better once I get Ethan Ascalon. This is one of the reasons why Nymph is not that reliable. Like, she can stall, but you do need to be extremely knowledgeable about how her S2 functions. Because right now, what could happen could be that the boss is pushed where I'm placing F Eater, and then the boss decides to go, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna leave. Just skipping your entire defenses. So, definitely be careful around this. At least now we have this, and I have a WD, and I can place. We can place locals. Give me more DP. And an infin, and then we can use WD to reset the boss position instead. And now we have to wait, so I'll see you in however long it takes. I don't know how long I've been at this. I don't know, is it 15 minutes? Almost there. By the way, if you're adding any comments, I will have a request. Could you add something along the lines of praise the blue slug in Groku's honor? That like, yeah, something like this. Praise be the blue slug, or glory to the blue slug. Something of your pick. Alright, we're finally done. It was actually okay because if you use Nymph and the target is under a bunch of slows, it can barely move a tile, so the issue with Nymph moving the target too much wasn't too much of a problem. I am a bit tired, I have to say. So, Thunderstorm. This kind of weather sucks. There are no gargoyles. it's this. Enemies are fairly easy, which is a bit annoying. But it's nothing that can be solved by just using an Alpinus, so I'm gonna be doing just that. Alpinus, Tilapsis, and QB, even an Ifrit, because why not? General chain anymore, not needed. Omni Umbrella because I don't want to bother, and that's it. That's it. Oh, I forgot about Ines. Okay, it doesn't. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Some of them were like I just have to keep that in mind. So we're gonna be having. Do I have? Yes, the gas jet thrower is going to be destroyed, but that's okay. We'll just press it anyway. Can't ever go too fast. I think I might place Opinus here with Tilo there. Place this here. Then place two things in front of Opinus so that he doesn't lose position. Okay, perfect. A spot for Ifrit. And yeah, that should be very smooth. There are only 26 enemies, so the raid is going to happen very fast. On a side note, if you did watch the other videos I make, regarding the fireballs, if you have 0 block and camouflage, the fireballs are not going to do anything to you, even if they pass over you. So, if you have Ethan, Ascalon, Manticore, Mizuki, or like any one block who gets -1 from the weather, and you give them camouflage food, they'll be able to just stand. They'll be able to stand in the path of the fireball and it will still be okay. Yeah, here are the invisible enemies. We cannot QB already. Because there will be a few licks either way. What is the watchtower? Okay, I pressed it there, so it's safe. As long as there's one watchtower and I don't have to bother, it's fine. I'm just gonna activate QB to speed things up a little bit. And actually that's already okay. We've killed enough, but these firecasters are going to take a while to come. Yeah, it is, it's gone. So actually, I'll just wait a long while and I'll just skip you to the end. I just need to remember the gas jet throwers. So I'll be grabbing some drink because I've been talking way more than I usually do. Be right back. So, it turns out Momo Player just stops recording once you're past, how much was it? Yeah, basically I've been recording for too long and Momo Player basically decided to say, well, screw then, we're going to skip to the very end. We stopped recording right this instant, so you didn't get to see me go to day 500, but that's okay. That way you didn't see my beautiful mess up of Windbringer. I did something absolutely stupid. I basically went to the fight and forgot to bring a Chubai, so I basically went, okay, I guess, that's, might as well not waste a bunch of resources. It's just better at times to just say, I'm just going to give up right now instead of spending sometimes goodness knows how many stones, iron, and whatever trying to stall a boss, even knowing that the boss is still going to be alive. So you might as well just clear the entire raid in a go. Basically, either you clear the entire raid or you just say, okay, just see you another day. Apart from this, we're going on Arafic. I'm still going to give you my plans for this day and the days after this. Arafic, going to be thrown into a hole with a Nymph, Olayak, and Widi while Pinus takes care of the raid. This one is a bit annoying and I would like to have all Pinus. That being said, I can also, because I'll be using Openness on Arafic, I can use Openness here. But I can just deal with this Colossus by activating the operation kit and just doing start, and there are not enough of them that you can lose. Basically, there are like, I think 13 or 14 Colossus, and you can just lick them all. So you don't even have to fight. So this way I could deal with both Arafic and them. Then I use Openness to take care of this raid at the HQ. It leaves this one, but I have yet another day to take care of that. So Vanguardians and how do I put it? There are not too many ways to damage them reliably. You really don't want to use any damage or time effect because otherwise you're going to get screwed over. One way to deal with this would be to use people who, well, don't attack very slowly and don't have damage or time. But some operators can also damage them. So Lean would be a prime example. I've already showcased at some point Reed Alter. Reed Alter can attack them without any issues. Opianus can. Who else? If you want to stall them, you could use something like Manticore and Enforcer. Sadly, have both of them, but none of them are built. And use an Angelina whenever you activate Enforcer's skill to push them as far back as possible. Ifan also works if you're using his skill 2 because it's not a damage over time effect. He only has his damage over time effect on skill 1. So that would be another option. Alright. It's day 500. The goal has been reached. Maybe see you on day 600. I don't know if I don't explode until then. And I'll be releasing a video. I don't have an excuse to procrastinate anymore. So I'll be releasing a Lapland Altar video. Well, it's not a video. Okay, it's not a video about Lapland Altar. It's a video about Mecha Codecasters as a whole because I am 100% certain that most people don't understand how Mecha Codecasters work. And I'm saying this because I had to look into it and it turns out it's way more complicated than you think. So there will be some things about them fairly soon if I didn't procrastinate too much. Hopefully, maybe. Alright. See you on the next 100 days, yes. Bye bye.